DC here. Hi, guys and gals. Hey, it's Sunday morning. Hope you're all well. And it is 7:25, and I've just finished doing some Spanish lessons. I've done my readings, my Bible readings, and I thought I'd vlog because for very, very long, Mrs. DC will be coming down. We'll have breakfast before going off to church, which is a 9 o'clock service. Probably notice I've got scabs a little bit here and there. Yeah, I went to the dermatologist this week, and he loves to spray me. Whenever he sees the smallest thing, he pulls out his liquid nitrogen and it just sprays. And it takes a day or two, and then it blossoms. And I hate it anyway. Yeah, but I guess it's a necessary thing when you get old sometimes. So I have to have a bit of tea this morning. Oh, this week some of you actually asked me what we did at that retreat that we were at. So since it's Sunday, I won't go into great details, but I did say it was a retreat, and we were looking at actions and how to communicate better with God in prayer via the Holy Spirit. So, for those of you who are also of either Messianic Jews or Jewish, also right now is the time of Sukkot, which is the feast of cabins or something like that. I'm sorry if I'm not getting the word right. And it was also mentioned and touched on, because I think one person asked me about that as well. And so yeah, we did touch on it. And about the fact is that you should depend on God for everything. Okay, so I will leave it at that. Oh yeah, one other person, or was it? I think we did touch about prayer, and yeah, there are a certain amount of teachings that were given on prayer as well. But like I say, I know that a lot of watchers are not really interested all that much in that side, so I'll keep it light. I mean, maybe one time I could vlog longer on that, but probably not today. Yeah. I was nevertheless this morning in one of my readings. There was a sentence that came out which I quite liked. Actually, it was about about using wisdom. Using wisdom to wisdom is to be used to know what to do with knowledge. And yeah, there's another one there where he sprayed, and that is something that is interesting, because a lot of us have a lot of knowledge. Actually, I mean, the people that are watching these vlogs, I mean, you know who you are. I mean, you're very smart people, and we have all this knowledge. And now the question is, often is, how do we use it? And I mean, that's one of the reasons that wisdom comes into play, is to use our knowledge well. But frankly, the people that I know here are pretty good at that. Yeah. Oh, sometimes complete change of tack, but this night, in the night, I was having either some dreams or something that brought me into thinking about people that we knew, because in my business, I was traveling a lot, especially in the last 10 years, last 10, 11 years. And I was thinking, like, when I was a child or a young boy, there would be traveling businessmen that would come where my father would work. And they were usually technical staff, because my dad was he was the head of maintenance, so the technical maintenance at a shop called Yarntex, which was a textile shop. I worked there as a kid, and as a kid, we don't need child labor. but as a young or teenager. And I was thinking of the three men, like my dad and a neighbor would usually be put in charge, of taking care of these people, entertaining them or what, when they were there. And usually, I mean, like I say, it was people that when they would install a new machine or something, the guy would come over. And there was three people I'm thinking of. One was a Dutch guy, Tony Van Dorn. Yeah, Tony Van Dorn was his name. And he had his family. I think he had actually moved over for a while. And he was over, and I remember my dad, we went over to South Shore, I guess was where they were living, on South Shore of Montreal. And that was the first time that we had pizza. And it was amusing because I think we even had it, maybe warm or even cold. It was probably a margarita or something like that. It was, and I think about it now, it was, what I remember is it was a big rectangle. So it was a store-bought pizza. And we were all in awe about this new type of food. Amusing, isn't it? I mean, like when you think about it. So, I mean, if I was like, probably when that happened, I would have been maybe 10, 12 maybe, I don't know, 13 maybe. So 13, that would be 1970, late 60s anyway, late 60s. Late 60s, let's say late 60s. And I was thinking, like, wow, there's so many things when you lived in a village or stuff like that. People would go way out of town. There was one pizzeria that had opened at a corner of a crossroad called Gilman's Corner, and people would go there and drive over several miles to go and have pizza because it was something completely new. But that came way after that. This guy had taught us about pizza. Yeah. Then there was another man I remember, Jerry Ayrn. He came all the way from Ireland at the time. Probably the first person I met from Ireland. He was older than the others, very friendly. We had a pool. My dad had built a pool, but that might be anyway. I won't get into the details, but and he had come, and as I guess most people, he brought his swimming suit, his bathing trunks or what, and he'd come swimming. We do have a picture somewhere in our old slides, and he was fun. I remember my dad and him were drinking a beer and so on, and him talking to my dad about Irish beer, which of course now later on in life, I know what he meant because he was probably drinking. My dad would drink O'Keefe. Those of you who are from Canada, and especially from Quebec, will know what I'm talking about. My dad would drink O'Keefe at the time. Yeah. And then there was an Italian guy. I don't remember his first name, but his surname was Pozo or Posey or something like that. And my dad and the neighbor, they went into one of, I was almost going to say our hotels in town. None of them were great, but that's probably where the guys had to stay. And they had a meal, and the Italian guy had taught them about look, when we would go when I was a kid, we'd go to the store. I couldn't go, but you could not buy wine in a store, a normal grocery store. You could buy beer, but wine had to be bought in a liquor store. And the great experts there were nobody, and they'd ask you. They'd been taught, red wine for red meat, white wine for chicken and fish. That's it. And so when you'd go in, I remember actually just being in the lobby, and there was a counter, and my dad would ask for a bottle of wine. That was very rare actually, and they'd say, "What are you eating?" And my dad would say something like, "Oh, I think it'll be with chicken." "Oh, that's white wine." And he'd just pull out a bottle. He didn't know what it was. Anyway, so this guy Posey and my dad, they went to this place, and he wanted some wine with his meal. He's Italian, and Europeans often had wine, so he had introduced my dad to Valpolicella, an Italian wine. And it was quite amusing because for Antinori Valpolicella, I think it was anyway. And I've been actually, in the meantime, I've been to the Villa Antinori. I don't know if it was Valpolicella anymore, but I have been to the Villa Antinori in a business meeting. And I thought of the guy at the time. It was really quite amusing to think that, our first introductions to things like that were through cross-cultural, cross-national meetings with businessmen. Yeah. They do say that travel opens your mind, doesn't it? Yeah. Anyway, so I'm up to 10 minutes. I'll leave it there. But, I went from one thing to another. And now I'm actually, I was going to say, living across the pond and learning and teaching wisdom and knowledge to other people. Nice. Okay. DC signing off. Take care, everybody. Hope you have a great Sunday. Bye-bye.